Greetings, everybody. How are you today? I see we have a number of attendees here. Trista Sue is here along with Hubert in Canada. We are coming from you remotely in 2 locations, and we are very excited you have joined us today. As you know, today we are sharing on serving your way to greatness, and we are going to be discussing 2 very important keys that we shared last week in serving your way to greatness. We want to invite the people that have joined us. We have Adrienne, Shalom, I hope I'm saying your name right. We have Crystal. Crystal came with us to Haiti. Hey, Crystal. And Elvis. Elvis is our new friend from Guatemala. Elvis, we want to say hi to you. As you know, Hubert there is mentoring you from Canada, and he's been a very diligent student so far. We have Henrietta online with us, Maria, and Melissa. And I'm guessing Melissa is our local leader in Naples. I'm not sure which Melissa that is. But again, we do have the chat open for question and answers, and we will be doing our best to answer those as we can. And of course, we have Deborah here, who is our trustee administrator extraordinaire, and she will be going through the question and answers and making sure that we get all of those at the end answered for you. That is our goal here, is because really the student does determine the lesson through their questions. So we want to make sure we go through those. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and bear with me as we go through the screen share because it's kind of a little bit of a process here. Let's see. What we're going to do is recap last week's, what do you see? I see like 20 screens now. I hope that didn't, let me try that one more time. I'm going to try my screen share and recap the points from last week. Here we go. Okay, good. So the recap, what we discussed last week was discovering your greatness. And of course, greatness is the quality of being great or distinguished. It's also eminent, being famous and respected within a particular sphere or profession. And what we can see with that was there were 5 ways or 5 qualities of becoming great. The 5 were serving yourself, serving your gift. The second one was finding your place. The third is childlike. The 4th being obedience. And the 5th, which is a major component, is discipline. It doesn't just happen overnight. You must be a disciplined person in your gifting to discover your greatness, which is in all of us. And so today, we're going to be discussing finding the leader in you, which is number 1 and 2 quality of greatness, serving your gift and finding your place. Those are the 2 that we are going to be focusing on today regarding finding the leader in you. So what I want to do is share with you about the car engine. We're going to use that as an example. Everybody knows what a vehicle is, and there are about 60,000 parts to a car. And there are many different parts to the car. Some of them is the battery, you have the engine, you have the spark plug, and you have the terminal wire. Now, which of these has the power? Which of them really run the car? You have the battery, and he says, I've got all the power. Without me, you can't do anything. And then you have the engine that says, well, I actually run the car. And then you have the spark plug that says, yeah, but I've got the fire to make the car run. And then you have the terminal wire, and he says, I've got electric transmission. So, in essence, when it comes to a car running, which of these is the most important determinant to make the car run? That's the question I ask you. I wish I could do the little chats Q&A, if anyone can answer. Oh, Robert's joined us too from the Great Northwest. Hi, Robert. Maria, you're from the UK. And Charlem, it sounds like Harlem with South Carolina. Oh, so it's Charlem. Very good. Okay, thanks. So I want each of you to think, what's the most powerful part of the car? You know, without it, what could the car run with? And so what we have here is everybody saying, I'm the most powerful of the car. The battery, the engine runs it, the spark plugs, yeah, I've got the fire, and then you have the terminal wire. I'm the electrical transmission of it. So who's the leader? Well, every part is a leader in its own right. Because we have the battery, he's a leader in power. Engine runs it. The spark plug is the leader in the fire technology, or the fire component. And then the terminal wire is the electrical transmission, the electrical element of it. So not one can be ran without the other. The car won't run if the terminal wire is not connected to the battery. So the battery says I have the most power, so I'm the most important, but if this little terminal wire is not connected, then the battery can't even function. So the battery depends on the terminal wire to operate in his function. So that's the same thing with leadership philosophy that Jesus introduced to us, is there is not one person more important than the other, or one leadership skill or one gift that is more important than the other. Because a lot of times we think in order to be powerful or important or valuable or great, that I have to be big, I have to be loud, and I have to be somebody. But the leadership philosophy that Jesus shared with us is what makes you a leader, or what makes you great, is your terminal wire, excuse me, my phone, is the function that you operate in. This is what makes you great. So when you serve or operate in your purpose, in your function, in the context of the whole, this is what makes you great. So leadership is not reserved for the elite few. Oh, it looks like my PowerPoint went off the page. And we've been taught that leadership is reserved for a few. And this is completely the different philosophy than what Jesus had to say for us. Hubert, do you want to chime in a little bit regarding that?
Yeah, maybe I will add that today is a very special day for me because what it is saying apply technically, and my country is celebrating 20 years after the genocide that was perpetrated because people thought that some of the one part of the population in my country were not only they were not leaders, but they had not even no right to live. So what is Trista basically saying is something my whole nation experienced on a deeper level, because people thought some people were created by the gods to be leaders. Not only that, but in my country, they even push that further to say, not only you cannot lead, but you don't even have no right to live. That what happened with the Hitler, that's what he did with Jewish people. So we see that this philosophy of leadership that was brought by the Greek, that said some people were created by the gods to be important, to be leaders, to be in church. Some people went even further to say, if you're not created to be a leader, you're not even a human. Sometimes they will even say, not only you cannot lead, but you don't even have no right to live. So it's a kind of, that's why today we're saying it's a paradigm. It's a total shift from that philosophy that no, everyone 7 billion on earth today has the capacity and the ability to be leaders in their area of gifting. So today we're going to show you how do you discover, how do you go from thinking, you know, I'm not nothing, I cannot lead, to tell you, listen, if you breathe, if you have air coming in, out, you still can be a leader. Everyone can be a leader.
Yes, and you will not find this philosophy anywhere but in the Bible. When you go to get your leadership training in a university, when you are even in an organization or in a ministry, everybody's leadership philosophy is from the original Greek thinking. And this is a big problem in any culture that we're dealing with, is they think only elite few are called to lead. But let's take a look at what Jesus' leadership philosophy was. His philosophy was that each of you have an inherent gift that you must serve, and you must serve that gift to the world. That you are a leader, you have a power, your gift is your power, and you are in charge of your area of gifting, your domain, nobody else. And this gift, therefore, determines your spot and your function. And nobody can operate in that function except you. Like, for instance, you see Debbie here behind me. She's an administrator. I'm a teacher. We operate in completely different functions. We don't consider those titles. That's our purpose. And so we lead in that area of gifting. Hubert also has his unique area of gifting also, and that is what makes him great. But none of us are trying to compete with each other, because when you discover your leadership, which is discovering who you are, there is no competition, because you are an original. We are all originals. That's how God created us. And so it's very simple when you discover this and you understand that everybody is a leader and we need each other and operate corporately in order to make these happen. That's the same as the battery needs the wire, the spark plug, which gets the fire going, and you have the generator, you have the tires. You can't run a car without the tires. They're a very important function. So not one person or gift is more important than the other. But when you bring them all together and they're unified, operating together, that's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Right, Hubert?
Yes, that's what leadership is all about. Leadership is not about one guy at the top as a pyramid. Leadership is leaders coming together to fulfill one task. So in essence, difference between Jesus' philosophy of leadership and the Greek philosophy of leadership was the Greek philosophy was there was one guy, there is one man that was created just to be a leader, and others were created to follow that or to serve that one. But when Jesus came, he said, no, you don't have to fight because remember, Jesus, one day his disciples came to him and said, who among us is a leader? Because they had a Greek philosophy themselves. So in their mind, one of them was a leader, others were followers. So they were fighting because everyone wanted to be the leader, wanted to be the one to lead. They came to him and said, oh, who is the leader among us? He said, oh man, that's why I told you to repent, to change your mind. I don't want you to think that there is just one leader. I want you to start thinking as we all together as our leaders in our area of gifting. As Trista was saying, me, I have my leadership, and it's totally different with her leadership. We don't compete, we complete each other. When you understand that everyone can lead in his area of gifting, not only you will lead in your area, but you will let others as well lead in their area of gifting. So this is very important to understand the difference between these two leadership philosophies.
Yes. So just as the value of the terminal wire is not determined by its size or the cost of it, but by its function. That is the key word that you have to regard in yourself. What is your function? Why are you here? And there's a deficit in our community until you have found your function, until you have found your gift, because we all need your gift. And again, not one is more important than the other. We all have something to bring to the table. So your generation is just waiting for you to discover yourself. And that's the problem. Most people have never taken the time to discover themselves. Now we have your value is determined by your gift. Most people try to find their value in everything else that they can find to discover their gift. Oh, I am? Oh. There, is that better? Okay. So your value is determined by your gift. You are a leader and you were created to lead. But what's happened is it's trapped within us. So that is what Hubert and I are here to help you with, is discover who you are. And when you discover that, that's when a leader is born. And that's exciting because all of us are here waiting for you to bring your gift to the table, to discover yourself. That's what gives you value. Your car does not give you value. Your house does not give you value. Your name does not give you value. Now, I have to tell you a story. When I got married 8 years ago, actually today is my anniversary. When I got married 8 years ago today, I had to change my last name. And my last name, where I'm from, Fort Myers, there was a lot of value. We had a very good reputation. And I would get a lot of favor in business relations, in my community, because of my last name. And I had to struggle with this because I had attached my last name to give me value. And this was a hard thing for me because that was my name. I thought that's who I was. This is me. Don't take my name from me. And I struggled with this. And 4 years into the marriage, I went to a marriage retreat that Dr. Myles did, his first one. There were 15 of us there, 15 couples. And he addressed that. And so I had to repent to my husband, and you guys know repent has to change your way of thinking and how you do things. And I went on Facebook. I took my maiden name off of I had Youngquist/Craig because it was still hard for me I was struggling with my identity, thinking it was typed into my name, trapped into my name. And I told my husband I no longer will. I wasn't using that a lot, Youngquist/Craig. But in a few places I still was. And even my business cards, I still was using my old business cards at work saying Trista Sue Youngquist. And it took me going to the marriage retreat to understand my value is not in my name, but is in my function, my gifting, who I am, what I was born to be. I could have even been born in any family and had a number of names. So it's not even your name that gives you the value. And again, that was a very hard one for me to grapple with. Now we're going to go on to, actually somebody just asked, how do we find our function or our gift? And now that is what we're going to get into. If you look on your screen, it is fun. It's what you enjoy doing. You can do it all day. And people will even pay you to do, what you like to do. It's your passion, and you can do it without pay. These are clues to what your gift is. Now, a lot of people, again, have been educated out of their gifting, and they're struggling with what their function is, what their gift is. But everybody has a passion. Everybody has a gift. And sometimes you have to go back to when you're 12, 13 years old. What was the thing you loved doing all the time that your mom would say, hey, little Lucy, stop doing that. It's time to eat dinner. Or it's time to do your homework. And a lot of times that's how we can discover, that's what our passion was. Sometimes we have to look back to our childhood, what we was doing. Now what I would do when I was a child, my cousins would come over and I'd set up my cousins in a classroom and all my stuffed animals, and I would teach them. Because I just love teaching. But I never wanted to be a schoolroom teacher, but I loved teaching to my stuffed animals and my cousins and my sister. So looking back, that was one thing that I loved doing. And then I would set up a store, and I would sell things out of my little store in my bedroom. So I have those two components of things that I did as a child. So everybody, now if you go to a youth and you ask them what their passion is, they can usually tell you like this. But as we get older, we go through college, we start our career, we're educated out of our passion because we're trying to make a living, or find a job, or get a job to make a living. Whereas when you discover your life work, you never have to work you never have to go to a job again because you discovered who you are, and you would do it for free. But the beautiful concept about your gift is you will get paid for it. You want to add to this?
I may just add that when to the person who said, "How do you discover your gift?" Uh, I would say you discover your gift when you shut down any other voices you hear. Oh, how am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to pay? When you stop worrying about your survival, that's when you can hear your voice speaking from within. Because Jesus said this. He said, I think this is one of the verses people don't really understand. He said, don't even think about what you're going to eat, because that is going to prevent you to discover your purpose, to discover your gift rather. Because if what you're doing is focusing on how to survive, if what you're doing is motivated by self-preservation, you're going to have hard time to discover what your gift is. Even if your gift is inside, but you will never hear that voice talking to you. As Trista was saying, she wanted to teach. When she was a kid, she wanted to teach. But the problem was, uh, many people think, oh, teachers, no, you cannot make a living out of that. So if she was focusing on how to pay her rent, how to survive and live, she was never going to make it to understand, oh, you know, my gift is this and that. So sometimes we just have to relax and trust the one who created you to take care of you, and then you will be able to discover and to walk into your leadership potential.
Yes, very good. Thank you, Hubert. Now let's look at leadership. Leadership, in essence, consists of finding, refining. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Leadership consists of finding, refining, and developing your unique gift, that brand only you have. So when you refine your gift, you develop it, and then you serve it to your generation, you become great. People will call you great. So what you need to do is start serving yourself at every opportunity. Don't wait for that promotion or that position to come into play. So every human being was created to lead. Everyone has leadership potential, because everybody has to discover themselves. Hopefully they will. So everybody has that potential. And trapped inside every follower is a hidden leader, because everybody has a gift to bring. So although everyone was born to lead, most will die as followers. And this is a sad fact. And again, your world is looking for your leadership. So here's the key to leadership: becoming yourself for the benefit of others. Now, how easy is that? I mean, that's a great program and an easy process. Again, you have to take time to think. Most people never sit and think. So at the end of this webinar, we're going to give you 10 questions to ask yourself. So get your notebooks ready so you can write down these 10 questions, so you can take time to think and just discover who you are. And I'm going to put this up one more time. Becoming yourself for the benefit of others. This is the key to becoming great. This is the key to becoming a leader and to really making a difference in your community and in your nation. Now, let's look at the misconceptions of serving. You think, okay, the key to greatness is serving. If your misconception is wrong, then your whole philosophy of leadership will be wrong. What we've been trained to think, it's belittling yourself or making yourself inferior or less or subservient. But the word serve actually means to manifest through effort, to perform. So when you're serving your gift, you are manifesting your gift through effort, and you're performing it. So greatness is serving to the world what you discover in yourself. And we need that from you. Your generation is crying out for you, because you are here to solve a problem. You are a solution to the problem your generation is facing. There are thousands of problems around the globe, and there's enough of us to solve them. But if you're busy making a living, clocking in 9 to 5, then you will never discover your greatness. And this is the key to living a fulfilled life, because, again, everybody wants to be great. We're going to fast track this a little bit now because we have only half of our slides done. We're still doing okay. It's 12:30. We're still live. Okay, we're back. Can you guys see us?
Yes, we can. I can see you.
Okay, I can't see anything on my end now. It still says I'm uploading. There's an error on your app, so I'm seeing a blank screen. Give me 1 minute. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay, we good?
Yes.
Okay, good. Here we go. Here's the 3 sources of leadership. The number one way people become leaders can be through self-discovery. So true leaders never seek leadership, but they seek a sense of purpose. They discover a sense of purpose that reveals their gift and inspires others to participate in their purpose. This is what drives them. So we can see this in leaders such as Nelson Mandela. We see it in Martin Luther King. We see it in Mother Teresa. She saw a need. She discovered her gift. It was a process of self-discovery. The second way where leadership is born is through circumstances and pressure, crisis and challenges. A lot of people are thrust in.
You're back.
Okay, good. We had an internet connection issue, but I'm back. Okay, good. Here we go. All right, so we were discussing the second source of leadership is through crisis, which actually was Nelson Mandela. Because of the apartheid, all the issues they were having, the racial tensions, and they put him in prison because of it. So that was a crisis situation, a challenge. Mother Teresa was more the self-discovery. Mahatma Gandhi also was circumstances and pressure. Then there's the third way, which is the way that all of us on the webinar are discovering our source of leadership. It's through intentional training and development. It grows out of opportunities and projects. So that's what we are doing right now, is intentional training and developing you to discover who you are. Now let's look at what Jesus said about this leadership process. In Matthew 20:26, he said, "Whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant." So here he's sharing us the formula how to become great. The first word he says is powerful, whoever. So what he is saying is, it doesn't matter who you are, but if you have a desire to become great, here's how you do it. And it's for everybody and anybody. Again, it doesn't matter what nation you're born in, what gender you are, the color of your skin, the color of your eyes, none of that matters. What language you speak, your education level, those are not issues according to Jesus. According to him, whoever, anybody that has a desire to become great, this is the process. You must become a servant. You must, and the word servant there means administer endeavors meet needs, and minister to others. So we understand the word servant meaning subservient, but the word he used here was to meeting other people's needs. And that's, again, where we go back to you are being a solution to a problem that your generation has. Hubert, would you like to touch on that?
Yeah. As we were saying earlier, Jesus, like, I think these guys in his times were having hard times because, remember, in their minds, leadership was about people serving you. And that's what most of people still think today. They think, you know, I'm a leader because I have 100 people working for me. But according to Jesus, he said, whoever wants to be a leader, to be the greatest one, have to serve everybody. And I was thinking this weekend as Microsoft is celebrating its 40 years of existence. Bill Gates is the wealthiest guy on this planet because of one thing. Because I saw what he said when he started 40 years ago, Microsoft. Their idea was to have in each house a computer. So in his mind, he never wanted to be great. He just wanted to serve everyone. In the process of serving everybody, guess what? He is the wealthiest guy in the world because he served most of people. And he was saying, we still have a lot to do because not every family has a computer today. He still wants to push, even if he's the first one, the greatest guy, we can say the wealthiest guy in this planet, but still he wants to serve. That's why he's great.
Yes. Now let's look at the rest of the scripture that Jesus continued on. He said, and whoever wants to be first must be your slave. What are you a slave to? You are a slave to your gift. I will never forget the day that it was 2011, I believe, and Dr. Myles came to Naples. I picked him up from the airport, and I was opening the car door for him, and he stopped me and he says, listen, I am here to serve you. What is it that you need? And I'm like, no, I am here to serve you. And I tried to correct him because I'm like, no, you got it wrong. I'm here to serve you. You're Papa Myles. Are you kidding me? And I didn't ask him what he meant by that, and I should have. I just assumed he was wrong, and I was trying to correct him. So I will never forget, the next day I was in the elevator with him at the hotel with a few other people, and he said again to me, Trista, I'm here to serve you. What is it? What's on our agenda today? What do you need? And I had a few people that needed serious counseling, 2 people. So he demonstrated to me being a slave to your gift. And even when I traveled with him, his schedule was crazy. And I'm 20 years younger than he was, and I could not keep up with him. But that wasn't my gift. That wasn't my function. That was his. So if I were trying to even keep up with him in the 2-week period, it was crazy. It was impossible. I was like, how does this man do it? But I was built for my function, not his. And I realized what it really meant to be a slave to your gift. You truly at the beck and call to others. That's what he was. To whoever needed him, he was there. And he sacrificed a lot. It does take a lot of sacrifice when you are a slave to your gift. But the thing about your gift is it's your passion, it's your desire, and you love doing it. But it does take a lot out of you because the more refined you are in your gift, the more demand you will be in. So that's why it's very important in refining your gift and discovering who you are and refining it, because you will be in demand. And you can't wait until your demand for you to figure all this out. That's why you have to practice now in discovering yourself, refining it, developing it, and then you start serving it for free at first. Always serve your gift for free at first. You're testing the market. You're giving people samples. You see back in the day when they used to give you a CD for Microsoft Word, they'd give it to you a 30-day trial. And you have 30 days to try their product, their gift. And if you needed it, you would continue after the 30 days. So that's the same premise. That's the same principle that we operate in. So let's continue on to the leadership paradigm shift. What we have here is a completely different philosophy than any other leadership philosophy that there is, because it comes from the idea that followers serve leaders, to now the new idea that Jesus presented, that leaders serve the world. And we see this reflected when Jesus said, I did not come to be served, but to serve myself to the world. He operated with this leadership philosophy. And we do call him great, because he served himself to his generation, even unto death. So leadership has more to do with releasing yourself and deploying yourself rather than employing people. Servant leadership is being prepared to serve your gift at every opportunity. Most people wait until they have a title, get a degree, or a promotion, but not us. I have been preparing for 5 years in teaching in a small group in Naples, and now that gave me an opportunity to refine my gift. And then when we go to nations like Haiti, now people are just starting to see my gift for the first time, perhaps, or at a kingdom training seminar. But I've been refining that gift for 5 years in quiet, in a little room, in a hotel in Naples. And most people focus on the big scene. So, but it's very important, like King David, as soon as he was anointed to be king one day, this next scripture says he went right back to the sheep. And he was refining himself. He was developing character. He was developing, going through the process of being tested and tried. And you see that he was refining his gift in the essence of going through the situation with the bear and the lion, because he killed them. And that gave him confidence when it was time for him to be exposed on the big scene when it came to Goliath. He was like, man, I got this. I can do this. I did this with 2 wild beasts. I got this guy. This is nothing. He's so big I can't even miss this target. Are you kidding me? This is easy. So it's very important that we do not wait for the right opportunity to refine ourselves, but we are constantly doing it in the background when nobody is watching. This is very important. Hubert, do you want to add to that?
I think maybe I will come back to something you just said that I think for me it's the most important to, if you take one thing from today's webinar, take this one. You said leadership has more to do with releasing yourself and deploying yourself rather than employing people. This is what most of people think when you say, even when you invite people to a leadership seminar, maybe your friends, you are telling them, oh, I'm going to attend a webinar in leadership. In their mind, they are saying, oh, this is not for me. Because for them, oh, I'm not employing nobody. I'm not planning to start a business. I'm not trying to go to serve or to have a big company where people will be, where I will be employing people. In their mind, they are not leaders. But you say leadership has more to do with releasing yourself and deploying yourself. So leadership, in essence, is focused on you first, forgetting others, forgetting who you're going to serve, or even who's going to serve you. But first, discover yourself and deploy yourself. That's leadership we're talking about. We're talking about this, I would say, new way, but rather an old philosophy of leadership. Self-discovery, serve yourself to humanity rather than trying to employ others. That's leadership.
Yes, that brings us to the next slide. The greatest thing in the world a person should discover is not something to do, but someone to be. True leadership is discovering who you are supposed to be. And it's becoming oneself for the benefit of others. Now let's look at the principles of leadership. It is determined, not a preference. God already determined your place, your role, your dominion, area of dominion in your leadership gifting. Remember, Jesus said, this place has already been prepared for those. We talked about that in the last webinar. It's a prepared position. It demands a price. There is a cost to it. It is inherent. It's a divine deposit. God put it in you, sent you to earth with it. It is not for you, but for others. You never see a tree consuming its own fruit. The fruit is for us to come and enjoy. It is becoming yourself for the benefit of others, and it is having a vision. You must have a vision once you discover your gift. So let's recap the philosophy of servant leadership. Every human being was created to lead. Your desire and predisposition to lead is inborn, innate, it's in you. Every human possesses leadership potential. You have the ability to lead in your area of gifting. It's in everybody. So never count yourself out. Trapped in every follower is a hidden leader. If you accept false ideas about who you can or cannot become, it can smother your potential. That's why you have to be very careful who you listen to and whose ideas become part of your thinking and what people say to you. Though everyone was born to lead, most will die as followers. So if you do not identify and tap into your giftedness, it will be wasted and it will be buried with you. Leadership is your history, it's the original intent of God for your life, and it is your destiny, it is your future. You were created to be a leader and designed to fulfill your specific and unique assignment in this life that nobody can fulfill but you. That's why it's very important that you discover your gift. Your generation, we are waiting for it. The world needs your leadership. You exist to meet a specific need on earth that no one else can meet. This is key. So do not rob, do not be a generational thief. We need you. Real quick, let's look at ways people try to get their value. They try to get their value through people, through clothes that they wear. You see people with certain name brands and they think that's what makes them valuable. The house that they live in, the car that they drive. They feel great because they drive a certain car that they think, I have it made. The neighborhood that they live in, the status, their title, and the size of their bank account. These are the things that the world will try to tell you will give you value. But as you can see, there's many successful people and their ideas of success, but they're depressed, they have anxiety, they can't sleep at night. Naples, we live in Collier County. It's one of the second wealthiest counties in the nation. And I ran into a nurse one day on a cruise, and she's not a nurse, but she sells prescription drugs to the doctors. She's a pharmaceutical rep, is what she is. And she told me something very interesting. She said, you know what? The two top selling drugs in your city are anxiety pills and sleeping pills. She says for the wealthiest county, one of the wealthiest county in the nation, nobody can sleep and they all have anxiety or stress. And I'm like, wow, that is crazy. And I never forgot that. So everybody is trying to get their value and be significant and be somebody and make it to the top. And their idea of success was what they were educated in, their parents told them, their colleagues, their friends and family. But God's idea of success is finding that what makes you valuable, which is your gift, and that makes you great. That's how you are fulfilled in life, and it is guaranteed you will be successful because that's how God set it up. Success is inherent when you discover yourself, your gift. So we do not find our value in these different ways that the world has taught us. But let's look where our true value is found. I want everybody to see this. True value is found when you discover and manifest your gift. So it's one thing to discover it, but it's another thing to live it out. You must serve your gift. You must present it. This is what Hubert and I are doing today. Hubert and I are just serving our gift to you. We're just speaking from our heart. We're sharing the process we've gone through. We're not looking for titles or recognition or PhDs or doctorates or anything like that. We're just coming to you, serving you our gift And we're fortunate there's enough people on here that want to discover who they are and who their gift is. I mean, what their gift is. This is very, very important. And we're going to leave you with this quote. This is by Einstein. And he said, "Try not to become a man of success, but rather become a man of value." And now you know what makes you valuable. And most people in our culture are striving to become successful, and they have their ideas of success. But Jesus came and told us the secret to success, to become valuable. And it's discovering yourself and serving yourself to your generation. Now, I wanted to show you something. This is my husband's firm. Now, he's an architect, but he is not just an architect. He has found his niche, and his niche has given him value, and his niche has made a way for him in our community, and he is influential. So he has pinned himself as the Florida architect, and he created a new type of house or niche that is his brand. He's discovered his brand, and I wanted to show you the picture because the architecture is very different, but it's nostalgic but modern. So he combined old things in a new way. That's innovation. So everybody was building Mediterranean around our area. You know, that Mediterranean look, the Italian look. And when I started dating him, he says, "I hate that look." And I'd be like, "Well, everybody's building that look. What are you talking about?" And I never understood because every house, every street you drive down in Naples has that Mediterranean look. And he hated it, and I never understood. And then when he deployed himself as an architect and he found his niche, he created a new type of house. Now the people that live in Mediterranean homes are hiring him to transform them into these kind of cute cottage, quaint homes. So what has made him valuable is not just becoming an architect, because an architect was his gift. It is his gift. It's who he is. He dreams these things in his sleep. He sees these things, and he cranks this stuff out like you wouldn't believe. It's truly a gift because he does it so effortlessly. And but then he found his niche. So that's a very important concept I want you to understand from today. You find your gift, you discover it, you refine it, and then you find your niche. There's a lot of teachers out there, but what's your niche? Who are you teaching? Who do you specialize in? That's like the example that Papa Myles would tell us. There's a lot of shoe stores out there, but find your niche. They told this story about the Bahamian woman that just sold baby shoes. So if you had a baby, you go to her store. But you can't find the baby shoes in the other store. She was known for her niche of baby shoes. So I wanted to share with you that very important concept of finding your niche after you've discovered your gift. And that's what makes you great, and you have influence. And that's the end result for us, is influence. So who is the greatest? The one who serves. That's the key. It's that simple. But you have to know what you're serving us. We got to know what you're known for. When people think of me, they think, "Oh, that's that girl that owns a hotel and talks about the kingdom." So that's my niche. There's not a lot of people that own hotels and teach the kingdom. And so now I'm even working on refining my niche even more. And I'm developing that because a lot of things transitioned and happened when our mentor, Dr. Myles Munroe, passed away. And it's imperative that each of us find our niche because our world is looking to solve their problems, and they're looking for the answers, but they just don't know where to look. So they have to be able to find you. How can they find you if you're not out there? If you haven't deployed yourself, if you haven't been refined and you're not becoming yourself, then there's no chance of us ever finding you. So, Hubert, do you want to add anything to that? We're going to finish up here in a minute.
Well, I will maybe stress a little bit on what you were saying about Matthew when he saw these houses and he said, "I hate them." That is the key to find your niche. He said, "I hate them." Do you know why he hated them? Because in his mind, he will see something, he was seeing something different. So one of the keys, if I would even say the key to find your value, the key to find your niche, the key to find your uniqueness. Remember, your value is in your uniqueness. And one of the keys, or I will even say the key to find your uniqueness, is to see a problem that makes you angry because you have the solution to that problem. So Matthew saw houses he was there to correct. And he said, I hate them. I don't want to see those houses. Do you know why? Because he could see something better. When he started putting that in place, when he started designing those houses, and people would see that, people who used to love those Italians' houses, they say, wait a minute, that's better than what I have. Then they started hire him, pay him big money to correct what they thought at the beginning was fine. But it took one person to see something different and present it to the world. That's how you become a leader. You see a problem, no matter what. If everyone is fine with that, if you see something and you say, I think we should do better than this, we can do this way. Guess what? Once you start refining it and selling it, people will come to you. So that's how you discover your gift. That's how you discover your niche, as Trista was saying, is when you see a problem you are designed to solve. When you solve it, people will be looking at you and they will call you a leader.
That's true. And an interesting fact that reminded me of, Matthew was working with a big firm before the recession hit. They never built any houses. They only did commercial properties. And it wasn't until the recession, and I begged him for 9 months to deploy himself because of the principles I learned from Papa Myles. I mean, I nagged him. I say the word beg because I'm being nice. I nagged the guy every time he came home for 9 months to deploy himself because I know how principles work. And it wasn't until he deployed himself that he started designing houses, because that's all the market could sustain at the time. People weren't doing commercial development anymore during the recession, but a few people were still doing houses. So it wasn't until he deployed himself that his true gift was exposed. And now he came in last week, he came home and he says, Trista, now all the home and design and the local magazines are fighting for me. They want me on the cover. What happens when you have these architectural magazines, design magazines, they have exclusive rights for, say, 90 days to certain pictures of a certain house that you are doing. So the other magazines can't use this house for 90 days. So now they're all fighting over his houses to use them exclusively in their magazines, and they're fighting over Matthew. So he's in demand. This is what happened when you discover your gift and you created your niche. Now what I'm going to do, because we're finishing up, is I'm going to put the 10 questions that you ask yourself, the 10 steps to self-discovery. Number 1, what is your deepest desire? This is how you discover what you were born to do. Number 2, what is your passion? Number 3, what is it that makes you angry? Like an injustice that you see happening. Number 4, what ideas are persistent in your life? You're going about your business and there's certain ideas that keep coming to your mind. Number 5, what do you constantly imagine? You know, a friend of mine once said, daydreaming is more important than night dreaming. What are those things you're always thinking of? Like when you're driving. What are those? That's when I think a lot when I'm driving, when I'm getting ready in the morning. What are those ideas that keep coming to your head, what you imagine doing? Number 6, what do you want to do for humanity? What do you want to be known for when it's all said and done? Number 7, what are your recurring dreams? And number 8, what brings you the greatest fulfillment? What do you love doing? And some of us will have to go back to our childhood, like I mentioned in the beginning. Number 9, what could I do forever, even if there was no monetary compensation? And number 10, what would you rather be doing? Now, number 9 helps most people, I find, when they're going through the questions. What would you love to do even if you never got paid for doing? Some people are volunteering their services, maybe in a like a juvenile home or in a foster care, some kids in foster care, or helping people that are going through sex trafficking, that have been through that. I think of Linda Joe, for instance, when I think of that. And you do it for free. And number 10, what would you rather be doing? And then finally, if you still want help, this is some of the things that we're going to be focusing on in our focus retreat that I'm doing on May 8th. This will be my 4th annual retreat that I do, because my desire really is to help people discover who they are. Then you will truly be fulfilled in life. I see so many people, and I get emails every day from different people wanting mentorship, or different people feeling so unfulfilled and miserable in their life, or they hate their job, they hate what they do. And so we really want to help you. So if you can't make it to Naples, May 8th and 9th, then please join us live streaming. We want to help everybody from different regions, whoever you are, wherever you are, at your phase, in your season in life. And it's never too late. If you are still breathing, there is hope. It's never too late. So if you're 70 years old, please know you can still make a difference, even if you feel you haven't. And Debbie, I believe we have some Q&A. We have a few minutes left. And if you want to share any questions that the people may have.
One question was, how did you process not depending on a 9-to-5 job and focusing on discovering yourself? I ask because that's the motivation of most people.
Yes. Well, there's a scripture in Ecclesiastes. And this is the one that I shared with Matthew when he was at his old firm. The recession had just started. You can see they were dwindling down from 34 people, dwindling down, firing people. The jobs weren't coming in. And I had just learned the principles from Papa Myles about overcoming crisis and deploying yourself. And so there's a scripture that says, during the day you go to the job. I wish I knew what the scripture is. Hubert, you may be able to chime in. But at night you do not let your hands be idle. So what it's saying is, you do not just quit your job. You don't just leave it and say, I'm going to go do what I was called to do, and I've discovered my gift, and now I'm going to start it. What you do is you continue at your job, because your job should be refining you also. It's giving you practice. Okay, maybe in management, maybe in organizational skills. And again, I go back to the principle, God will not give you anything or more if you do not manage what belongs to somebody else. So usually that's a testing period when you're at a job, is how are you managing somebody else's business. And so what happened with Matthew was, we went to his boss, we said, listen, we're going to give you our 3 months notice, because he had signed a document when he first started. You don't give 2 weeks notice. When you're an architect, you give 3 months notice. So he said, I'm going to give my 3 months notice, and I'm going to start doing some jobs on the side. So Matthew went to his 9-to-5 job as an architect with a firm, but then at night, when he got one job, I remember there's only one job he had in that 3-month period. It was for a house, and he worked on that one job at night when he came home. So it took a long time because it was after his day job. And then he got more jobs. He began to get more jobs. So we had a few jobs by the time he resigned from his business. But until you've developed your gift and you start getting compensated for it, then that's when you transition from your day job into your life work. You don't just jump ships in the middle of the stream. You have to be wise. Solomon wrote about that. So do not let your hands be idle. So always be refining, start a business, start it on the side, okay? But you don't just go quit your day job. But you refine it and accomplish it after 9 to 5 hours. You become who you are after those day job hours. That's when you become who you are. I spend a lot of time studying at night. I go to my day job to the hotel during the day, but at night I'm reading, I'm studying, I'm researching, I'm preparing things. I'm developing some other things that we'll be announcing soon. So I'm always working when I'm not at my day job. So that's a key. You transition when your compensation is equal or more to your day job. And it takes time, and it takes diligence and discipline to do this. And you have to make sure that people in your family understand and are on the same page as you, because they will have to help if you have kids. And at the time, we didn't have children. You're on, and they can support you. It's very important that your spouse supports you in that. Is there any other questions?
I
you were
wanted
going
to
to add
add something on that one.
Go ahead.
I wanted to add that question. Most of people, they once you discover your gift, there is a difference between your gift, your purpose, and your vision. Your gift is what is the equipment you have to fulfill your purpose. So many people, once they discover the list she gave, mostly is to discover what your gift is, what you're gifted to do, what you want to do. But that sometimes is very different with your purpose and your vision. Your purpose is what you're supposed to be doing with your gifts. Some people, they want to leave their job because they discovered, this is my gift. That's fine. But your day job is preparing you for your purpose. Your gift, you got it. You're going to refine your gifts and stuff like that. But once you discover what your gifts are, wait until you discover what you're supposed to be doing with those gifts. Because as Trista said, maybe her gift was to teach. There is so many ways of teaching. What to teach, where to teach, how to do it. So while you discover that, you're still not ready yet to do it. That's why you keep your day job and still refine what you discovered during your nights until you discover what to do with that. And then, even then, you're not ready yet because you know what, but you don't know how to do it. That's why if you want to know more, please register for the retreat, because we have 2 days on those 2 topics. How to discover your purpose, how to get your vision, document it, and mostly, how do you go from document to apply it and live it. So it's a process. It's a process. Don't rush it, because sometimes you can abort your baby if you rush it.
Yes, that's very important. That scripture is referring to, thank you to Linda Joe, she put it up for me, is Ecclesiastes 11:6. Sow your seed in the morning, and at evening do not let your hands be idle. For you do not know which will succeed, whether this or that, or whether both will do equally well. So use wisdom from the man, the wisest man. Do we have another question, Debbie?
Yes. What recommended material do you suggest to help me develop my gifts?
Well, it depends on your area of gifting. You know, I mean, there's not one way to develop everybody's gift. That's unique to your gifting is how you develop it. But usually by practicing whatever it is your gift is, practicing it. Like, for instance, you have someone who wants to be a boxer. They have to go to the gym every day and box and train. So whatever it is your gift is, you just have to practice it and develop it in whatever way. And it's not usually in a big way, you do it in a small way. So I hope that helps. But whatever it is, practice your gift in whatever arena that looks like. Everybody's arena will look different because everybody's gift is so different and unique. It may be working with kids. It may be working with youth. It may be working with retired people. It may be working with business people. You know, there's a whole gamut there. Just develop your gift. It may be, you know, some people it's sewing or designing clothes. Start practicing. Some people it's, you know, baking. You just start baking in your house, and then you start giving your little baked goods away for free. And if they're that good and it's really your gift, then they will be in demand. So I hope that helps. It says Donisha has a question. How would you know if it's a vision from God or a vision you simply want to do? Very good question, very important question, and I have a one-word answer. Ambition. If the vision benefits others, then that's true vision from God. If the vision only benefits you, then that's ambition. So it depends on who it benefits, who your gift is, who the vision is benefiting. Hubert, would you like to add?
I would say, if the question was, how do you know if the vision is from God or if it's for you? As you said, there is sometimes you have to differentiate a vision versus an ambition. That's personal. But on the other hand, that's why I say most of people, I come to realize, once they know what their gift is, they start planning their way how to use it. That's not the way to do it. That's what Moses did. Moses discovered, oh, I have to deliver people. But in his mind, he didn't go back to the Creator. Remember, purpose is only found in the Creator's mind. Your gift is in you. That's what he equipped you for something. You have to go back to make sure you got it from your Creator. That's why even the kingdom of God, when we teach about leadership, I don't care about what you think about God. If He's your Creator, you always have to go back to Him. You have to make sure that you align yourself with His principles so He can transfer the why He created you into your mind. Once you get that right, you can run. But if you haven't get right the connection with the Creator, it will be very hard for you to discover your purpose, because guess what? He's the one who created you. He's the only one who knows why. Sometimes people get caught up because I discover my gift. It's very easy to discover your gift. Not easy, not that easy, but it's easier to discover your gift than to discover your purpose, because your gift is an equipment for something specific. Find it in the Creator's mind. But again, if you want to know more, this is a whole big thing to treat in 1 hour. Please join us. If you cannot join us in Naples, there is just a small fee for the streaming, for the technology. You will have everything. We just want to serve you. Our heart is to make sure that everybody discover why and how to serve your generation so you can be great. So come and join us so we can help you, we can serve you and help you to discover yourself.
Yes, we'd love to meet you one-on-one also, and we will take time out with one-on-one sessions so we can really help you with your purpose and your vision. Now, everything that we taught today comes from this book. So we have to give credit where credit is due. Papa Myles wrote In Charge, Finding the Leader Within You. So this is pretty much the only book besides the Bible where you get the right leadership philosophy that there is. And so this is what we taught from, this is what we've applied to our lives, and this is what we believe. So you can always get this book on Amazon and read it for yourself, and it will help you understand even more than to what we can share with you in 1 hour's time. Thank you for being with us. Hubert, thank you for joining us from Canada. And thank you for everybody with your amazing questions and answers. We really appreciate you. And in 2 weeks from today, we're going to do another webinar. And we'll continue on the same series, Discovering Your Greatness and Serving Yourself, and even go more. So get ready. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you again. Bye. Ciao.